Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Trekyards. He's Commander Cocking.
He's Captain Foley, and we are looking at some future Starfleet technology and design. Sort of. Not really. Yes?
Well, it's all the future from where we're sitting right now.
This is true. Well said, well said.
Yeah, we're going to be taking a look at the bridge of the Zheng Hu Riker's ship from the last episode of Picard. And we're going to take a look at it because we love ships, and bridges are on ships, and it's kind of our thing. So, here we are.
First of all, Stuart, what did you think when you first saw it?
That's the Discovery Bridge. That's what I thought. I did appreciate the fact there was a new bridge, which was nice. Well, I mean, we got to see a bridge. We've been saying the whole season we want to see a Starfleet bridge. Finally got to see one. The back shot is not bad, really. But when they turn it around, you see the view screen, and it's just like it's a weird bridge layout. We're going to talk about that in a minute, but
Yeah, the problem is this is the most expensive Trek show ever made. And at the end of Discovery Season 2, we both had a much larger battle, an entire Enterprise bridge, which looked incredible, and digital view screen and all these things. And so the expectation from something created with less budget last year, as in the sense of there was money in the budget, they just didn't spend it on the things. We know they spent different things. Well, I was expecting at least a green screen bridge, because I don't know about you, but the way that Jonathan Frakes is out of focus could easily be green screen. Like, it's so depth of fieldy. And in fact, that might have been a better option, even to put on like a Sovereign Star bridge. You only have to build a segment. It's not that difficult to build, whatever. But yeah, I was instantly like, that's the Discovery Bridge, and it's not even like it's the same angle. At least they they moved it enough to be different, but there's no new shapes. There's no new anything except the L cars, and there's obviously just a flash drive. You swap it out. It's so similar, and unfortunately that means there's no creativity involved. There's no thought of what does this design look like. A lot of the comments we got in our last video were saying, well, it doesn't look futuristic because the Discovery looks futuristic. It's like, yes, the Discovery Bridge, if changed a bit, could look post-TNG, but that's just the problem with the Discovery Bridge rather than the success. This could be a post-TNG bridge just fine, as in the Riker one. You would think the legacy of having the first Federation bridge seen post-Nemesis since 2000, whatever, Nemesis time, almost 20 years, you'd think that'd be an honour to design and to put together and work hard on. And none of those things were put together in this.
oh, absolutely. And we've talked about it before, how Michael Chabon doesn't like star dates, he doesn't like captain's logs. I found out on the weekend, actually, that he doesn't like ship porn. He doesn't think that's what Star Trek's about. He's not interested in the ships, and I think that shows immensely here. They even with the fleet the way it was, all very, 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 very identical, pretty much, except for a few variations. Which, go check out our episode on that, because there are some variations in that fleet. I don't think it's a lack of budget, even though, as you said, everything in this season was pretty cheap, from just things you can buy at the hardware store that weren't changed at all. I don't think it's really lack of budget. It's just lack of caring about what makes Star Trek Star Trek. They even used stock footage of robots and androids when Star Trek is known for creating new props. And yeah, they use stuff. They've always used things like styrofoam packaging and stuff, but they've always gone out of their way to make it look like it belongs in the Star Trek universe. Star Trek's got a very unique look to it. So,
well, there's one thing to be said about when you have a limited budget, you go extra creative because you have to make things work. This show either had so much budget they didn't feel the need to go creative, or they ran out of budget because they spent so much money on other things, and then they weren't creative, so they just did things. We talk about the new ship, the exterior looks like a 1990s 3D model. There's no blinking lights, there's no registries, there's no pennants, there's no phaser strips, there's no torpedo launchers, there's no deflector dish, there's no RCS thrusters. The list of things it doesn't have is more than it does have. And I have friends that model. We know we can model it, as a team in several days, and so it shows you that they maybe spent 2 days on that model, maybe. And this bridge, while looks nice, and actually one quick caveat, they also use the Discovery cameras, and the way the depth of field looks nicer than a lot of Picard stuff. Because it's different cameras, even though they should all be using reds. I don't know why they would look that different, but something about his footage looked really good compared to a lot of Picard footage. I don't know why. But yeah, so this first shot of the bridge comparison, the Discovery Bridge is a massive set. It's the biggest bridge they've ever made. It's filled with space. it's not designed for function, clearly, beyond the fact of every display is really on location. Every display is real, which is the exact opposite to Picard, where everything is hologram. That said, give them credit, when the trailers they had displays on every single pillar, and they were removed for the final season. Good. That was absurd. But it's not very functional, form follows function design. I mean, everyone has to yell to talk to each other. It's just not well designed. But you look at it, and obviously we know where it is, but I wonder how much the audience can pinpoint where and how. Because the captain's chair isn't just, because you can see Saru, the captain's chair has the door behind him. So if we go to the next picture, it's that bit.
Which was clever to do, but still, I mean, when you compare photos, it's clear to see what's going on. Now, you just mentioned holograms. I just want to quickly jump in with that. It's good they didn't include floating holograms in front of those people at the stations behind Riker, because it's the new computer system. It's all holographic. So, got to give them a little bit of props for that. But
as we know, it was a last-minute reshoot where they were running out of money, so they couldn't afford to do them. But if you go to the next picture, you can actually see a behind-the-scenes still from Jonathan Frakes. And in this one, you can actually see they are still using the exact same monitors that Discovery used, which is why you have these practical monitors. And you can see very, very clearly, now you've lost all that lovely depth of field, exactly what's going on here. And I've pinpointed the same bit. And, they did swap the light panel, so it wasn't just a solid bulb. They put a piece of girder on it. It is amazing how much LCARs change the feel. But at the very least, they should have painted it silver or something, or a grey, because the orange tone of the Discovery Bridge is very off kilter, is very out of the box. Obviously, that would have taken more time or money, and that's what TNG reused bridges a lot. It was the same bridges, although for the most part they all feel different, just in the same era. But they would repaint a single section. They would redress a single part so it looked and felt different. Here they've put one thing on the lights, moved the captain's chair, and
unfortunately, when you have two shows running concurrently, ish, that don't have, or that are in completely separate eras, you want to kind of avoid using the same set and design. But you had just mentioned moving the captain's chair. Let's talk about the captain's chair, which really kind of annoyed me, because it's clear that it's the exact same chair. They made a small attempt, at least, to change its appearance somewhat, but I noticed it right away when I was watching the show. Not really era appropriate. It is, though, because the Discovery one they made to look like the TOS captain's chair a little bit. It's got that same kind of the angles, and they tried to modernize it, right? So I could see Picard or Riker's chair being like a retro version of the captain's chair, let's just go back to that cool style. Kind of like they did with the Camaros, when they came out with the Camaro again after a few years. Bumblebee was redesigned after the first generation Camaro, so it's kind of like an updated take on the original captain's chair, but it's the same.
The irony is the Nemesis chair still exists, which was obviously redressed of many other chairs. I just rented it from the guy that bought it, and then fly it in and then use it. The problem with this ship in general is that now we're going to have to basically take it out of canon, because nothing was done to the art design really to give it any depth. I mean, do we now take it as read that no ships in this era, because we've now seen 200 of them, have pennants, have registries? I mean, in DS9 we know they didn't have registries because you couldn't make them all be unique. Fine, but they did have blinkies, they did have other details, they did have phaser strips, they were just textured, whatever. But do we really take it as read that everything in this era is like this? Well, we can't. That's ridiculous. So, same as Captain's Chair in this bridge, it was obviously a non-money redress. If now people start to design stuff in this era using this bridge kitbash as canon, we're now going to see the Discovery bridge used to represent the Post, and now the failure in Discovery design has now leached into Post Picard, and then Post Picard is then going to leach into the rest of canon, and now you hurt canon. This is why it doing anything in the future is risky, and that's why they should have thought it all through. And even if the ship is only in a little bit, do a green screen set. Do a full digital set with a digital chair. It's not that difficult. He's only doing 3 angles. And from my view, his view screen isn't fully digital. I think he's on complete green screen for his, and we'll get into that in a second. Although, yes, they did change the back of the chair, because I guess they thought we're going to focus on it so we can't have the exact same chair. Or it's the Season 3 chair, which I wouldn't even be surprised if that's just the Season 3 chair. Because I don't think, honestly, why would they spend the money to create a new connective? It looks too similar. If you were going to change it, you'd put a new... You'd actually change the shape of it. You'd add just a piece on top, like a 3D printed resin piece, just go on top and make a new shape.
Yeah. Yeah, because you got that spine there. You can just attach something to that covers the look. So,
But the next view is the looking forward shot, and this is this is all a reshoot of this. So for my eye, this is just a green screen shot. Do you know why I think that?
because you're a green screen expert, so you're going to tell me why.
Sort of, but that top view of Discovery is also a fully green screen shot. Like, they made an incredibly good TOS Enterprise view screen CGI incorporated beautifully. So if they made that look that good, they're not going to build this portion of the bridge, and it doesn't look like it's not the Discovery Bridge, it's not the Shinjo Bridge, it's not the Section 31 bridge. It's something unique. Plus, I don't think they built those consoles for one shot. So I just think it's easier and cheaper to put on green screen. Given these two rails, everything else is lit.
And here's where I come into my issue with this front of the bridge. Yeah, you got the railings there, okay, but then you got these two front consoles, which during a red alert are unmanned, I might add. But it seems such a huge basketball, kind of court of room that you have here.
And considering how small these ships are, they're tiny.
Exactly. And there's no matching corresponding bridge window on the outside of the ships.
Which we'll get into. I got a picture.
I figured you did. And we know that TNG, even the E, which was a more militaristic ship than the Enterprise D, still had kind of a, padded walls, warm colors. It just had a different feel than the older style Trek. Because this feels very much TOS to me, just because of those railings, more primitive look. And it kind of bugs me a little bit. A lot of people have been saying that the reason all the ships were the same is because Starfleet realized they needed smaller, more maneuverable ships that they could build fast.
They didn't put that thought in, Stuart. I'm not going to make credit.
I know, but they're more militaristic and they don't worry about that kind of thing anymore. But could you imagine spending a duty shift on this bridge? It's not like any of the other bridges. You can't sit there and kind of have a conversation with people because you'd be yelling, first of all, because you're so far away.
It just wasn't designed, it was put together. But again, it's a cheap reshoot, that's the thing. It's a lack of time and effort, and you wonder why didn't they plan this ahead of time? Why didn't they know Riker was going to be in it? Why didn't they plan this thing? They have time, and they have the money. They just didn't address it properly. But last thing though, Stuart, this is one of those things that we sleuthed into. Obviously, next picture, the Riker was looking at the biggest ship window view screen ever. It's bigger than the Discovery, which we saw ago, bigger than the Shinjo, bigger than Enterprise, which was a retconned window back in, even though it isn't, but is, and bigger than even the Kelvin and such, and the Dredger Prize. It literally fills the screen. There's nothing either side. And yet when he didn't say which one was a ship, but there's only two variations of the same primary hull, so it's the same ship. Look at the hull on the bridge dome. There ain't no window, Stuart.
I was happy about when I saw it from the outside because that's been a thing since JJ Trek now, all through Discovery. It's just been bridge windows everywhere, which a lot of people say it's natural, it's fine, whatever, who cares? Well, we do because there were never windows before. They were always view screens.
Well, it's a less efficient solution than view screen. It's a step backwards.
It is. It looks cool. It's a great visual, and that's what they're going for. That's why they're using it. But with no corresponding thing on the outside, now people are going to say it's just a huge view screen that just, and fine, it's a wide view panoramic view screen that's not actually a window. I would be all on board with that. However, with the way it's presented, because you see the thing pop up with Picard and Commodore O, which is like a view screen style in the middle, they're implying that it's a window.
Yeah, this is an example of two different teams not talking with only 3 weeks to go. But also, if you put a view screen in every single ship window, then you have to put detail and stuff. So yeah, if you're going to take this ship as canon and their window size is canon, you can see how daft those windows are, then no, it's not a window, it's a view screen. But the fact is, this is them winning. Because have a view screen on the inside, don't have a window on the outside, fans are happy. So yeah, I think we can comfortably say it's not a window, even though they want it to be a window, even though the people who did the CGI set environment thought it'd be a window. But the outside people didn't add a window because they might have even thought we were going to design a ship custom, and they never did.
I mean, the only thing I really liked about the bridge was the Elcars in the background, which we kind of saw for a second, but only on the behind-the-scenes picture of Riker. It wasn't really focused on. And we've been talking, we want to see a Starfleet ship, Starfleet bridge, and actual Elcars on a Starfleet vessel. We've kind of got all those, but like I said, it's all been half measures. It's like we got what we wanted, but barely. So leave your comments down below what you think of this bridge. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Did you notice it was the Discovery Bridge? Because it seems like everybody did. So let us know what you think, and by all means, make sure you're subscribed to the channel, like the video, click the notification icon, because as he said, we got a lot of videos coming out all the time. And if you want to get, up to the minute kind of news and our thoughts on things, make sure you click the all notification.
Yes, and of course, support us on Patreon if you can. This channel literally does live or die based on fan support, both in watching the content, but also donating something towards our running costs and our rent. This is our primary source of income. That's quite important, otherwise we can't live and come to the show. Go figure. So Patreon, or join the channel, which is like Patreon, but through YouTube. So it's near, there's a button on the channel you can see join at certain tier levels, and it always helps the channel, or a one-time donation at trekyards.com. That donate button goes in towards our business account. Lots of great ways, and support if you can. Even $5 a month on any of the systems will make a difference.
That's right. So until next time, guys, I'm Captain Foley.
And I'm Connor Holmes. Bye, guys.
See you soon.